With the 2026 Formula One season set to usher in a new era of racing, the sport is gearing up for radical changes. Expect sleeker, lighter cars equipped with cutting-edge active aerodynamics and revolutionary engines running on sustainable fuels. F1 is pushing the limits, using the latest automotive tech with a focus on electric power and sustainability. But as it ventures into uncharted territory, challenges loom large. One team, in particular, is faced with the daunting task of adapting to the 2026 engines. For Alpine, renowned for its historical pedigree, the road ahead seems dangerous as their engine department teeters on the brink of closure. So far, Alpine's journey in Formula One has been a roller coaster. After a promising 2021 season capped off by Esteban Ocon's thrilling win, the team struggled in 2022, failing to reach the podium. The departure of team principal Otmar Szafnauer, left red-faced by Fernando Alonso's last-minute switch to Aston Martin, created an opening for Oscar Piastri to make a surprise move to McLaren, adding to Alpine's misery. Despite the team's confident announcement of Oscar joining them for the 2023 season, the reality was far from stellar. The year proved a rollercoaster of inconsistency, despite managing to clinch 2 podium finishes. The turbulence led to a significant shake-up in the team's leadership, with several senior figures either replaced or reassigned in a management overhaul. Alpine's overall performance plummeted, culminating in a disappointing 6th-place finish in the Constructors' Championship, slipping 2 spots from the previous season. The problems continued into 2024, starting off on an even rockier path with just 4 points from 9 races, leaving the once proud French team languishing in 8th place. Recent races have shown flickers of promise, but recapturing last season's 6th position seems like a distant dream for now. A major factor behind Alpine's struggles has been a noticeable lack of engine power. Discussions on engine equalization were ignited in July 2023, following an FIA analysis that exposed significant performance deficits in Alpine's Renault engine compared to its closest rivals. The FIA publicly acknowledged a substantial performance gap, estimating the deficit at 15 to 25 kilowatts, equivalent to 20 to 33 horsepower, prompting calls for action during the F1 Commission meeting held at the Belgian Grand Prix. Despite the strict freeze on engine development, the 2023 regulations left a crack open for potential tweaks. However, any modifications required a unanimous, good faith agreement among all teams and engine builders, a pact forged back in 2021 when the freeze took effect. Essentially, Alpine needed everyone to acknowledge their performance deficit and agree that adjustments would only level the playing field, not tilt it in their favor. But rallying the diverse and competitive F1 grid behind their cause was like an uphill battle in a tornado. Predictably, consensus could not be reached. And so, Alpine eventually abandoned their quest for more engine power, redirecting efforts towards their 2026 engine project. Yet, this path too hit a snag. Recent buzz indicates Alpine F1 is now in talks with other engine suppliers, exploring the prospect of becoming a customer team for 2026, rather than developing their own engines. In response to a lackluster season start and internal evaluations triggered by the team's underwhelming performance, senior Renault and Alpine executives are leaving no stone unturned. Every option is on the table as they strive to engineer a dramatic turnaround and reassert their position among the elite of Formula One. The decision to shift towards a customer team model, instead of shouldering the immense costs and challenges of full-fledged engine manufacturing in F1, was driven by the following stark realization. Even building your own engine doesn't guarantee victory anymore. McLaren's wins with Mercedes power and Aston Martin's stellar performances last season hammered home the point that success in modern Formula One hinges more on strategy and teamwork than on who manufactures your engine. For Alpine, navigating the minefield of manufacturer rivalries meant exploring partnerships rather than risking isolation. The most pragmatic route seemed to be securing engines from Red Bull, who are gearing up to supply their own units from 2026. However, the path to this alliance has its own logistical hurdles. Red Bull, based in Milton Keynes, faces a difficult task in balancing the needs of their existing teams, Red Bull Racing and AlphaTauri, let alone adding a third partner like Alpine. But luckily, Formula One's regulations offer a safety net. If Alpine fails to seal a deal elsewhere by 2026, the rulebook dictates that Honda, set to power Aston Martin from the same year, would step in to prevent any team from being left behind. Meanwhile, Audi is diving into the competition with their own engine for Sauber, concentrating solely on their debut season without the need to supply engines to other teams. Reflecting on the prospect of embracing a customer role, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner said, "I think we need to establish ourselves first. We don't want to overstretch ourselves. I think already supplying 2 teams in 26, that is probably even slightly beyond optimum in year 1, but it just gives us the capacity and capability for further down the line." This strategic approach underscores Red Bull's commitment to consolidating their current customer base before considering additional teams in the fiercely competitive world of F1. Mercedes might find Alpine a tempting new customer, especially with Aston Martin leaving them in 2026. The thing is, Mercedes has ruled Formula One since the 2014 regulation changes, their dominant engines making them a sure bet for Alpine's 2026 season. The buzz about Alpine possibly becoming a customer team quickly followed a rough outing by their World Endurance Championship squad at the Le Mans 24-hour race. The Mechachrome V6 engine Alpine used at Le Mans is notorious in motorsport circles for its unreliability. It's become a running joke, and sadly, the race weekend at Le Mans only confirmed those jokes. Now, in recent years, the Alpine motor racing teams have made a comeback as Renault endeavours to revive the Alpine car brand, which had largely faded in the 21st century despite modest success in motorsport. However, the substantial investment required to sustain any racing team, particularly one competing at the pinnacle of motorsport like F1 and endurance racing, has raised significant questions within Renault. Should they continue pouring resources into motorsports to bolster sales of Alpine road cars, or would their efforts be better directed towards focusing solely on manufacturing Alpine sports cars and exploring alternative marketing strategies? This internal debate has sparked numerous rumours about Alpine potentially selling their F1 team. With the cost of an F1 outfit currently at its peak and a surplus of interested buyers, such a move seems plausible on the surface. Nevertheless, despite the swirling speculation, the team has steadfastly rebuffed any notion of a sale to the public. Speaking candidly to Autocar, Renault's CEO Luca De Meo affirmed their steadfast commitment to the Alpine F1 team for the foreseeable future. "It's not my style, we will not sell even a part of this entity. We don't need the money," he claimed. "I've had offers coming from all directions and discussed in the media, but we are simply not interested. It would be imprudent, and I won't entertain it." In the detailed interview, De Meo also acknowledged Renault's ongoing challenges in mastering the turbo-hybrid engine regulations, which have proven to be a stumbling block affecting their performance across the current cycle of regulations. "When we began the hybrid era, our engine didn't perform," he said. "We had been world champions with Red Bull, but with hybrid things went wrong. Even the engine we developed in 2021 had a 0.2 to 0.5 second disadvantage every lap, and this year we've screwed up with the car. If you can combine everything, we're up to 1.5 seconds from where we need to be." While Renault is resolute about keeping the Alpine F1 team, discontinuing engine production would be a significant blow, with investments already totaling tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars into the 2026 engine. Scrapping the project now would not only bruise their pride, but also unsettle investors. It's a decision that couldn't have been made lightly. However, if they don't see a compelling reason to continue manufacturing their own engines, cutting their losses might be the only choice. How do you think Renault can overcome their current engine performance issues and elevate Alpine's standing in Formula One? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.